everyone, Kate here. I just wanted to hop on and say two things really fast. First, my audio in this episode is super echoey, and I'm sorry. I just moved and I tried to make a blanket for it, but it didn't really work. But I have furniture now, tested some stuff, so hoping our next episode will be back to better quality. Second, Larkin did a great job with this episode, but she did shy away from talking in detail about some of the atrocious stuff that you might normally come to us for. And she did that out of a concern for not wanting to sound like she was, putting down another culture, which is totally valid. But we talked about it after the episode and agreed that if we're feeling too shy to talk about something in gory detail, we should maybe shelve it until we figure out how to talk about it, warts and all, whether that's with a guest we feel is better situated to speak about the topic or whether we figure out another angle. So I've included a little bit of the discussion that Larkin and I had about this on the air so that you can hear our thoughts and, see us grow a little bit, because after all, learning and growing is a part of this podcast. So we figured that we would show that to you. All that said, Hello Kitty is still definitely ruined for me for multiple reasons, and I both loved and hated learning more about her. So I still think the episode is fascinating. It will upset you. We just might have pulled up short a little bit on the big ruin. So apologies for that. We're learning, we're growing. We'll keep getting better. All right. Love you all. Enjoy.
You're having a good time on the couch with your friends. You're having a good time in the bed alone. You're having a good time watching TV. Let us ruin your day. Yay!
Welcome to Now It's Ruined, the podcast for people who hate enjoying things. I'm Kate Bridle.
And I'm Larkin Harrington.
And I didn't actually script out any housekeeping for myself today, so I'm just going to rock and roll from my weird little fort that I have built for myself.
From your quilt fort.
From my quilt fort, yeah. I moved as I've been talking about. We still have to get all our stuff, which is why I'm sitting in a corner of a room surrounded by quilts and blankets that I shoddily just pinned and clipped and propped up in a little booth around myself. And the top is still open, and I feel like it's going to be a problem, but whatever. Sorry if the sound quality is at all janky on this one. What can I say about housekeeping? Follow us on the things. Go support us on Patreon if you're feeling like it. You can join for free, and as a reminder, we get to 666 members of any level. We're going to do an 80s photo shoot. You're going to get to choose our cover art. Go join. We're slowly creeping up over there. It's been nice. You can help support more things that we need, like my soundproofing and my microphone and all of those things. You can watch us on Patreon and on YouTube on video.
Come look at our beautiful faces.
So yeah, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Patreon. Spread the word as ever. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we'll just keep this nice short housekeeping. So I will just hand it over to Larkin without further ado.
All right. Well, I'll start with my corny little intro to you guys for this episode that I've been excited to create by saying,
皆さん、今日のエピソードへようこそ.
Oh, I love it. I love when she speaks Japanese.
I had to. I really had to.
Yeah.
I really haven't gotten to touch on anything Japanese themed quite yet on our podcast journey. So I guess it was about time. Mm-hmm. And this is someone I've wanted to talk about for a while. And I think we all know and recognize the name, image, should I say omnipresence of Hello Kitty. Do you, Kate, remember your first exposure?
I don't know if I remember my first exposure, but I do remember when it was just suddenly everywhere. And I had a friend, my friend Liz, actually, who I really want you to meet, who she was really into it.
Obviously, we need to be friends.
Yes, you need to be besties. So I think she probably was my first, major exposure to it. I remember kind of seeing it on, I was still in school, so, pencil cases and backpacks and keychains and literally everything. But I never got into it myself, and I didn't know anything about other characters in the universe or the lore or anything until kind of more recently, honestly.
Okay. So, yeah, that was my, I guess, follow-up question is, how do you like her?
Yeah, not really my thing, but not for lack of cuteness or anything like that. She's adorable.
Yeah.
I have no, as of yet, no real ill will toward her, but let's find out how I feel after this, I guess.
Let's see how you feel. Well, cool. I also can't really say the first time I was introduced to Hello Kitty or when my love for her started, because it is love. But from a young age, I've been really into the whole universe. I think being kind of a weeb or a Japanese nerd, growing up didn't help, of course. A few of my friends growing up were really into that culture too, so it was something we could share and have fun with, just like you said, just buying all the little kitschy things and sharing them, and it being, stickers, there's stationery, there's everything. Even now, I have stuff that I've kept from my younger years. I'm wearing my lucky Hello Kitty bracelet today that I've had since I was like, I think,
Aw.
I don't know, 12. The world of Hello Kitty, as you just said, is endless, and I remain very much subject to the brand. She is cute, as you also
She
said,
is.
and I love that came out of your mouth immediately. And there are so many different products and fun little kitsch collectibles, and there's something very innocent and sincere about Hello Kitty. There could never be anything even slightly devious behind that lifeless gaze.
Oh, God.
Diving right into some history, Japan, time and again, has proven itself to be incredibly adaptable. As far back as the 6th century, the Japanese had to learn how to adapt to a continuous barrage of completely different and sometimes imposed cultures and beliefs. And they were not merely adapting, but synthesizing. And they got really good at it. First, they've got Chinese and Indian cultures showing up, kicking open the door like, hey, I brought a new writing system and art, have some Buddhism. And Japan is like, okay. And went ahead and adopted the Chinese character symbols, or kanji, assigning their own readings and meanings to the characters.
Did they have any written language before that?
There was no writing system. Prior to kanji, we have an oral pastime of, what am I saying?
Oral pastime.
An oral pastime. Tell you what.
Ladies.
Ladies.
Oral tradition.
Oral tradition, thank you. It was Buddhist priests of the newly adopted religion who eventually derived the two whole new and separate character alphabets, hiragana and katakana, from kanji in order to make reading the original system easier. Basically a total of like 3, you wouldn't call them alphabets, but character systems. And it's really complicated and hard to learn. With every new foreign encounter, the Japanese adapted to these new cultural elements while still managing to make them somehow their own, very successfully synchronizing and harmonizing with them while still maintaining a sense of Japanese identity. Then the Portuguese show up with their Christianity and trade, opening up the rest of the world to what was then known as Japan, which is really where we got the word Japan. I had never actually thought about that, like in all the years I've been speaking it, which is crazy. But Japan is Nihon or Nippon to the Japanese, meaning the origin of the sun, literally sun and origin, which is a simplification of the land of the rising sun, which came from Prince Shotoku Taishi in the late 6th century. He sent a catty little letter to the Chinese emperor where he addressed himself as the son of heaven of the land of the rising sun, and referred to the Chinese emperor as the son of heaven of the land of the setting sun. Like,
ooh.
Okay, work.
Shit, I love old-timey shit talk. It's
Me too.
Good. Also, great self-titling, unlike fucking Lord Conqueror, Lord Protector. That's what it was. God damn, Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector. Ugh.
Get out.
Do something like that. What was it? The son of the...
Son of heaven of the
son
land.
Of heaven of the land of the rising sun. That is
just a little
good
hair
self-titling.
And you are the land of the setting sun. Just saying, like,
you old bitch. Yeah. Okay,
old
boomer.
Bitch. Yeah, okay, boomer is very much the vibe. And the Chinese were like,
the unmitigated goal.
Exactly. The characters used to write Nihon and symbolize this meaning are in kanji, which, as we know, was originally Chinese. And the early reading of those characters in some Chinese dialects would have been something like netpuan, leading to a later interpretation as jetpan. And then, via trade with Europeans, led to the Malay interpretation as jipan. And when the Portuguese busted in on the scene, they took that pronunciation and got jipan. And by the 16th century, we get the Italian interpretation of Giapam from cartographer Giacomo Gastaldi, who first depicted Japan on the world map as such.
Wow, that's so cool.
All right, fast forward to the end of World War II. Japan's economy is suffering. The political and social situation is bad. And its international...
happen.
That'll happen. That'll happen.
Post nuclear bombs.
And its international image also not doing so great. It was time for Japan to adapt once again, this time in a big way if it was to remain relevant and keep up, as it were, with the rest of the world. They needed a whole new image in order to make it back into the global playing field, and they were not going to succeed by military or economic means. A big aspect of Japan's exceedingly successful adaptability is this very strong cultural identity of obedience and pride in discipline that allowed for Japan to modernize while still upholding traditional values and culture. And while this was generally admired and read well internationally, Japan now needed a new culture to sell to the world. It was time for a culture of cute.
Ooh, that's a good way to counteract a culture of you helped the Nazis.
Enter the Yamanashiki Silk Center Company. Once a dry goods company established in 1960, it went through a total rebrand in 1973. Owner and founder Tsuji Shintaro wanted to pivot to the new and booming industry of fanshigutsu, which literally translates to fancy goods, a market of fun, cute merchandise aimed mostly at young women. The new company's focus was going to be shoes, more specifically cute little rubber sandals, adding strawberries and flowers and stuff. This was a huge brand shift, and Tsuji needed a new name that not only reflected the new image, but also had a more Western feel. Apparently, he idolized Walt Disney. And Walt Disney, who was from California, as we know, has many cities in the region beginning with San Diego, San Francisco.
There's, San Mateo, San Dimas, San everywhere.
San everywhere.
And then Sacramento. Hometown of Colin Hanks. Oh, shit, I have the jar, but it's not in front of me. Wait, he was, initially raised in New York, but I think he claims Sacramento as his hometown because that's where he lived with his mom after she and Tom Hanks got divorced. Anyway. Okay, I got the jar now. I just need to find a quarter. We're back. There he is. How much do we have in here?
Count.
Ooh, $3.25. It's gonna hold a lot. Ooh, we should have a guess at how much money we have in it when it's full, like a little raffle.
Ooh.
I don't know what anyone would win.
I could make you a little clay thing of your choice.
Yeah, Larkin could make you a little clay thing. Okay, yeah, if you want to win a little clay thing, guess how much. Here, I'm showing the Colin Hanks story. You're going to have to go on YouTube or Patreon or whatever. And if you're not already on there, go to Patreon and go follow us. I'm holding up the Colin Hanks jar, and they're currently, it's very flat in here, $3.25 in quarters. Sorry for all that.
No, it was actually very helpful because I fixed something that was in my brain that I needed to fix. So now just to find where I was.
Walt Disney.
Right. He loves Walt Disney. Walt Disney's from California. All the cities in California, all of them.
Every single city.
Every single city, as we know.
SAN.
So Tsuji decided to mash that idea of the San preceding another name together with the Spanish word for river, Rio, for no reason in particular. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And voila, you have San Rio. The company started hiring young, upcoming illustrators to come up with new branding designs and set them the task of coming up with the design. Yuko Shimizu was one of these new hires, and in 1974, at 24 years old, she created a simple character design based on the all-powerful concept of kawaii, or cute. The design was well received and was printed on a small red coin purse, a simple side profile of a little white cat with a red bow, and thus an empire was born.
Wow.
Yuko has said that her inspiration came from a memory of a little white kitten gifted to her by her father when she was a girl. Likely it was a Japanese bobtail, which is the inspiration for another famous Japanese image and character, the maneki neko, which you would probably recognize. These are the little beckoning cats you would know and recognize waving their little paws in the windows of shops or on car dashes. They are symbols of good fortune and prosperity. The legend goes that Ii Naotaka, the daimyo or ruler of a region of Tokyo during the Edo period, was hunting for falcons and was about to be struck by lightning when a little bobtail cat by the name of Tama beckoned him to safety into the nearby temple with his little paw where he lived. Even to this day, Tama is honored at the temple Gotokuji, his likeness recreated by the thousands, and you can go visit them and pay tribute to little Tama.
Hunting for falcons and almost struck by lightning is the most bullshit story I've ever heard in my life.
That's how
No,
all
you
Japanese
weren't.
stories go, Kate.
No,
I
you were
swear
not.
to you.
That's the most obvious self-legend built, like self-lore building thing I've ever heard in my life. I was hunting for falcons. I was nearly struck by lightning. But it has such an adorable ending for such an epic starting story.
Yeah. So first things first, and let's get this straight. Hello Kitty, or Kitty-chan, as she is fondly called in Japan, is not a cat.
I can't. This is the part that I already know that I'm just like, already that's ruined for me. That's absolutely ridiculous, but go on.
Hello Kitty is a girl, an 8-year-old girl, to be exact, from the London suburbs.
Everything about it.
I break
from
it down.
London. Okay.
She's not going to hear me out on this one. Will not be reasoned with.
It's a little girl who just happens to look exactly like a cat.
Don't worry about
Okay.
it.
All right.
And this is per Sanrio's website, so this is real canon, you guys.
Mhm.
Her real name is Kitty White, and she lives with her parents, George and Mary, her grandparents, and her twin sister, Mimi, who is only discernible by her bow, which is yellow and not red.
But also looks exactly like a fucking goddamn cat. I assume.
I mean, she is her twin, so yeah.
This other twin human child from London. You
They-
know how kids in London be looking like cats.
We don't know. Apparently, the Kitty universe has done away with the pesky metric system, instead relying on the much more dependable Apple measuring system. And as I'm sure you are all dying to know, Kitty is measured at 5 apples tall and weighs 3 apples.
Okay, I saw someone do a TikTok. This is not my joke. But someone was like, you know what's 5 apples tall and weighs only 3 apples? A goddamn cat. Not an 8-year-old girl. That might be a tall cat. 5 apples, depending on the type of apple. But
I mean, yeah, you could crab apples.
what 8-year-old girl weighs 3 apples? Any apple.
One that's not doing well.
Come on.
Some sort
Give me
of
a fucking break. Anyway.
disease. Kitty also has a boyfriend, Dear Daniel. Full name Daniel Starr, described as her childhood friend, which is a wild thing to say, seeing as how she is 8. This is Dear Daniel's story. Hailing from Britain, Daniel went to South Africa with his family because his father, Mr. Starr, is a photographer. After living in several locations around the world, he ended up in New York. From there, he returned to England, where he was reunited with Hello Kitty. Thanks to his stint in New York and his natural sense of rhythm, he's an excellent ballet dancer and is good at piano. His goal is to become a photographer or a celebrity. A very well-rounded, well-traveled.
It's a Renaissance man, yeah. What does Daniel look like?
I was about to say, and this is like,
Oh,
he's
okay.
very well-rounded. He's a dancer. He plays the piano, despite his very bumpkin farm boy appearance. Because, you guys, he's wearing overalls, and he's got, like, not even alfalfa hair. It's not slicked back. It's just sticking straight up.
But what is he? Like, what? I mean, I know he's a child, quote unquote. What animal does Daniel actually look like? I can't
Well, this is
picture him.
going to bother you even more, because
Great.
canonically, he's actually a cat. But Hello Kitty also has her own cat that is a pet cat that she owns named Charmy Kitty.
I need a minute. I need a minute. So she's not a cat. She
No.
just happens to look exactly like a cat.
Yes.
But she is dating a cat.
Mm-hmm.
So we got interspecies love going on.
While also owning a pet cat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's
so
some
there's a
shit.
lot of.
She's chill with slavery, basically. Hello Kitty is communicating to me.
She's a little white girl from London.
Yeah, of course. So there are sentient cat beings in this universe.
Right.
But Hello Kitty,
Hello
not
Kitty.
one of them.
Not
with
one.
her ears and face that look exactly like a cat and weighing the same as a cat and being the same height as a cat. Not a cat.
No.
Daniel, I gotta look him up. They look exactly fucking alike, except he has hair instead of a bow. This is bullshit. I'm so angry. Same 3 whiskers.
Yep.
Same eye placement. Same nose placement.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a cat and she's a little girl and they're dating and that's fine.
Just
At
shut up
8.
about it.
Okay.
Is what Sanrio wants you to know.
Shut up, you'll buy it. Yeah, okay.
Shut up, you'll
All
buy
right.
it. Hello Kitty has several hobbies. She really loves to bake, specifically cookies. She loves music, and she loves making friends. And she has a lot of friends. I don't even want to go into the number of friends she has. I remember growing up with Batsmaru, who's like a penguin, but kind of a naughty. He's kind of like a bad boy penguin. Choco Cat was one of my favorites growing up. He's got a brown little nose. He's super cute. He's apparently always up on the latest news thanks to his ultra-sensitive antenna whiskers.
He's like the guy who gets radio signals in his teeth and like wears a tinfoil hat. Is that what's going on?
Pom Pom Puddin', he's a golden retriever. He loves milk and anything soft, and his mama's cream caramel puddings.
I hated absolutely everything about that sentence. Imagine you were on Hinge or Tinder or Grindr or wherever you are, and that was a man's bio.
I would call the
milk,
police.
Anything soft, and my mom's creamy puddings. Is that what it was? No.
Cream caramel puddings. Creamy
Cream
puddings
caramel.
without I don't know.
Creamy puddings is worse.
But I mean, if you saw his little face, he's one of my favorite. Pom Pom Puddin'. He's just a sweet little guy.
That hat, he makes me uncomfortable.
But look
And
at
his little
smile.
butthole. He's showing his butthole. Pervert.
This one is going to be the most upsetting for you.
Oh, great. I cannot imagine.
His name is Doki Doki Yummy Chums.
Sure.
He's a hamburger. I like that he's a part of a group of Sanrio characters who are food items, just naturally. Doki Doki is the feeling of like, you know, when your heart races. But a lot of the times it's used to display that you're like excited romantically. I don't know. And a lot of the imagery is of him like being in love with French fries. I don't know. That he's a problem.
He's a horny hamburger.
He's a horny little hamburger, and I guess we can't fault him for that.
Who isn't a horny little hamburger sometimes, you know?
You know, I like that.
Larkin looking at DK Metcalf, horny little hamburger. Wait, are there any characters that look like cat or are cows? Because then the hamburger being one of their friends is even more fucked up.
Yeah, his name is just Cow.
But I'm sure he's not a cow. He's probably a...
Wait, no. They all just they dress as cows. They can cosplay as a cow, but there isn't actually a character that's a cow. We're just sticking with the fact that they can cosplay as cows and that one of them is a hamburger. I don't want to know. I feel like this notion of Hello Kitty as not being a cat is extremely confusing and maybe unsettling. But in Japan, it makes sense through the lens of the concept of a consumer mechanism called character.
Okay.
The use of anthropomorphized animals as a way to connect with consumers is a lot more commonplace. Think of it like a sports mascot, but for anything and everything. Hot springs have mascots. Prefectures, towns, everything has a mascot. Prefectural ones are specifically called Yoro-kyara. The mascot where I lived in Kumamoto, translated as bear origin, the name Kumamoto, is Kumamon. He is a bear, and he is the best. A good example of like the connection though with these characters, I think, is after the most recent radioactive meltdown that happened. People were calling in to check, is Kumamon okay? And he showed up in like a bandages and stuff to be like, everybody's okay. And like, just that's kind of the cultural enigma that is the character. And they may sell you things, but it's also a good way to like stay in communication with groups of people.
But he looks like a bear and he's a bear. Why? None of this has made me feel better about the cat not being a cat and dating a cat.
And dating a cat and owning a cat. Yeah. It's just such a common and pervasive part of the culture that accepting that Hello Kitty is a little girl while also being quite obviously a cat is really not as crazy as it is to us.
I just, if the other ones are cats, like, why can't she just be a cat? Why do we have to bring bestiality into the mix? I mean, not that I'm saying 2 8-year-olds are having sex.
Well, part of it is this story also, because
Okay.
it's thought that the idyllic English life of the white family was adopted because of the Japanese idolization of the storybook perfect English lifestyle at the time. This mostly came about through literature and imagery that, particularly for Japanese housewives, depicted the most romantic and perfect household that should be aspired to. And also, the fashion and style of London in the 70s was what was popular and in demand at the time, much more so than the Japanese aesthetic. So maybe they just needed a little girl from London, and this story came up after her perfect design, you know?
Right.
And this leads well into another aspect of Hello Kitty's origin story and the themes of the Sanrio world. That is the concept of mukokuseki, or without nationality. This idea of an absence of nationality, or cultural erasure, really, became a very successful marketing technique used by Japan and really took hold in the 60s and 70s as the global market was focused on European and Western themes and products. By effectively removing cultural identity from a product, you make it more marketable to consumers around the world. The implication being here, right, that what is good and palatable is Euro-American, normal, and the unspoken white, and that good is whatever holds power culturally and thus monetarily. And this also implies the understanding that the opposite, that exhibiting culture outside of the European or Western standard, being non-white, is a position of powerlessness and weakness. Hello Kitty's meteoric ascension exemplifies this strategy and how profitable it can be. Born in 1974, she was already being sold in stores in the US by 1976, then Europe in 1978, and made it all the way back around to Asia proper by 1990. The first few years of revenue are not available to the public, but her earnings for the company were explosive. She turned 50 last year, and she has raked in a whopping 84 billion in revenue over her lifetime.
I didn't realize that it was that old. Like, I remember it being like such a trend that I kind of, like I said, that I kind of like started noticing in like maybe middle school.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that I didn't realize she'd been in the States for that long.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And there's a wraparound way that happened. So that's around 4 billion a year in revenue. She's almost as popular and successful as a famous mouse we all know. Maybe even more so. And while Sanrio's founder, Tsuji Shintaro, admired his hero, Walt Disney, he really set out to take on the mouse beloved by the world with his innocent, unassuming cat. And maybe he succeeded, because we don't know Mickey's blood type or his horoscope. And Hello Kitty is type A and a Scorpio.
Oh, what a little toxic bitch.
I know. And I really loved the New York Times article about this, because they were like, Dear Daniel's a Taurus, it'll never work.
Nothing ever works with a Scorpio for anybody. No, I'm kidding.
Shots fired. Scorpios.
I know some great Scorpios.
They exist.
You gotta watch out. You gotta watch out a little bit. I will say Disney also has the weird conflict of Goofy is a dog who is a person and wears pants, and Pluto is a dog who is owned by Mickey. So what's up with that?
Yeah, we do have to call that out. That has always bothered me. The Pluto situation, even as a child, I was like, what is that? Also, deep memory that just bubbled up in my brain. Have you ever had one of those childhood moments where you're like, wow, I was so stupid, but like what a magical moment for a child? There was a toy phone that we had that I guess it was probably a hand-me-down. The Goofy phone. Did you have the Goofy phone?
No, but you've told me the story, and I love it so much.
I remember being alone in the basement, and the phone rang. The Goofy phone rang, which, I mean, ghosts, or it was, nudged or something. But I have a very clear memory that it just rang out of the blue. I'm just by myself, and I'm looking around like, excuse me. And I pick it up, and Goofy, says says something. And I'm like, wait, hello? And he responds. And then there's more responses. And I remember being so like, and I'm looking around. I'm like, is anybody else seeing this? I'm talking to Goofy right now. And then I just remember slamming it like hanging it up and
You
running
hung
away.
up on Goofy?
I hung up on Goofy. I was like paralyzed by his celebrity and also freaked out because I was like, why would he be calling me?
What does Goofy want from
What
me?
does he want?
Alone
What does he
in my
want from me?
basement.
How does he have my number?
I love it so much.
Oh.
Just being so intimidated and freaked out by Goofy.
By Goofy, the sweetest, best dad award, by
He's
the way,
named
goes to Goofy.
Oh, absolutely.
And who's Pete? What's up with Pete? I don't like Pete. Is he also a dog? I don't know.
Yeah, they're all dogs, I think.
They're
in
all
that.
dogs, except
Pete
for
and Max
Mickey.
and... Well, no, I mean just in like the Goofy
Oh,
movie
the-
stuff. Like I do
right.
think they live in
Oh,
like
yeah.
a dog neighborhood.
Is
Mm.
there some redlining going on
Yeah.
in the Mickey universe? Wrapping back around to Hello Kitty and knowing her blood type, I do have to say that everyone in Japan knows their blood type. Like, children know their blood type. It's very, like, it's almost a part of introductions. Like, hello, my name is and my blood type.
In case something happens later and you need to know.
Why not? It's just
Not the
an
worst
interesting
stat to know about people.
You and I should just, at the end of this, we're going to figure out what our blood types are.
How?
You're right. We'll have to do that separately and at another time. There are many explanations for why Hello Kitty was and continues to be so successful and really all-powerful. One compelling reason lies in the simplicity of her design. Her mere image is the product. She was not born of a game or cartoon franchise. Those came later. She is just herself, and therein lies her power. Also, in her lack of expression. She has no mouth, no eyebrows. She conveys nothing, and that means everything. She can represent anything. She can become anything. She can feel however you want her to feel, or feel however you're feeling. Her dead shark eyes ask nothing of you. And the possibilities of what she can be are endless, really.
Yeah, she can be anything except a cat. Okay.
Correct. Another factor is the range of her marketability. Her initial target audience was children, namely young girls, but mothers quickly became another big demographic. A phenomenon emerged of women who grew up with Hello Kitty, who then passed the love of the character onto their own children, linking generations through nostalgia and creating a consumer loop, which I think is a big reason why maybe there was like a second boom in the mid-90s. Sandals, pencil cases, lunchboxes, these are all no-brainers for kids, as you referenced earlier. But why not home appliances, cleaning equipment, things a mom needs? There are even Hello Kitty vibrators. Of course, they were initially marketed as personal massagers.
They always are.
They are now vintage collector's items. But Sanrio really saw what they had and fed into this generational loop quite successfully. Hello Kitty is also a media juggernaut. She was a true celebrity from the start. And if you're making headlines, you're entering the global discourse. Who needs overt advertising when you're in the news? Bernays! Collaboration with other big companies was a byproduct of this news hype, but also feeds right back into it. A collaboration with McDonald's in 2000 that featured a toy display of Kitty and Dear Daniel getting married caused such a frenzy that fights broke out and people were literally just throwing their food away. They just needed the special edition set.
Wasting food that you could give to somebody who maybe doesn't have any.
Commodity fetishism. Let it go. At this point, and there's more, she has 2 official theme parks, has collaborated with the biggest brand names around, including Nike, Adidas, Balenciaga, has been immortalized in Swarovski crystals, fine wines, Fender guitars, credit cards, planes, trains, you name it. Slap Hello Kitty on it and sell your brand. She is even the children's ambassador for UNICEF and was given the title of tourism ambassador to China.
That is I never even thought about that before you just said it, that she's a brand that just latches onto other brands use to sell their own shit.
Yes. She is a blank
She's
canvas.
like a celebrity. Yeah,
yes.
She's like a
She's a
celebrity, but it's like, oh, she's getting endorsements essentially, but like she's the selling point for the other brand. Jesus Christ.
Bernays! And what she wears, she becomes. oh, she's dressed as a pineapple. She is a pineapple. Like,
Right.
while other crazes have exploded into popularity but eventually fizzled out a bit, Hello Kitty persists. It is almost impossible to firmly assign one aspect of Hello Kitty as the one thing that ensured her global takeover. There are really too many, obviously, all working together. But maybe the strongest contender is the power of kawaii, the power of cute. The power of cute was not a new concept in Japan. A subculture of kawaii was already quite established by the time Hello Kitty came along, but she really exemplified it. And this brings me back to the world of character, of which you could say Hello Kitty is the queen. And that world is powered by cute. As a commodity tool, character needs to be cute to sell its brand. Author and professor of anthropology Christine Yano discusses this in her book Pink Globalization: Hello Kitty's Trek Across the Pacific. She points out the wide-reaching implementation of cute culture across generations and how effective this is as a marketing strategy. Cuteness in respect to children is obviously attractive and a great way to sell something. But that connection to childlike playfulness and lightheartedness is a way for adults to escape from the monotony of life and the dark heaviness of the world. And the pink globalization that Yano describes refers to this global phenomenon that transpired through capitalizing on kawaii. As she puts it, a world political economy of cute. In her book, Yano also references another anthropologist, Ulf Hanners, and his discourse on what he called Coca-colonization, which I love and I want to start
That's
using.
amazing.
Isn't that great? It encompasses the notion that the consumption of European American goods internationally holds way more meaning than the simple purchase of those goods, that through owning or consuming these products, you are brought into the global society or you're part of the global culture. And it doesn't have to necessarily be luxury goods. You're made relevant in the world of global imperialism, cultural imperialism.
Yay.
Yay! Good. That's what we all want. Due to the pervasiveness of cute culture, cute has become almost synonymous with cool. This opens the door to the notion of cute cool. This is demonstrated in street fashion, like Harajuku streetwear, celebrities sporting Hello Kitty. Cute is cool, pink is the new black, and it's global. And via this cultural identity of cute, it has almost flipped the script all the way back, transforming what was once mukokuseki, without nationality, to kokuseki, having nationality. The idea of like that cute, cool culture is now a cultural thing that Japan can own. The influence of cute culture and cute, cool culture, as pervasive and powerful as it is directly intertwined with a concept that I have been leading up to with this whole episode. And that is the concept of soft power. Soft power, put very simply, is the use of a nation's own culture to shape the way that they are perceived by the world, as opposed to displays of military or economic strength. It utilizes emotions and cultural exchange, a soft approach. And kawaii was the driving force behind Japan's soft power success. And by embracing it, Japan effectively changed its global perception to one that is actually quite positive. While remembering war and wartime actions is difficult and polarizing, it is important. Recognition and accountability are just as important as remembrance. We in the US have a lot to answer for and plenty of atrocities under our belt. Let me be very clear on that.
Including against the Japanese.
Right. But Japan is also not exempt from wartime atrocities, some of which remain a controversial topic even to this day, controversial to the point of denial for some. There is no reason to go into the crimes committed by the Japanese over the course of World War II. We recognize the massacre of Nanjing and the Comfort Girls, but taking into account Japan's role in the war and its adopted ideology of pacifism as a strategic image through the use of cute culture, Hello Kitty's innocence betrays something a little different. To commemorate the anniversary of the end of World War II, there was a Hello Kitty launched dressed as a kamikaze pilot. The innocence of cute culture feels to me to be a major part of the fetishism of Japan that has evolved over the years. While, of course, Asian women are fetishized and have been for decades, so are aspects of culture and even language. And this really diminishes all of those parts of Japan. We are so good at looking at other cultures and minimizing them, compartmentalizing them into the parts we like. But this is patronizing and gross. Japan is as messy and fraught with dark history as we are, and forgetting or ignoring that is belittling. To wrap it up, I guess, I mean, I still love Hello Kitty, and I think we all should. There are important parts of her that, even for young girls hold a certain power. There was an iconic Barbie that was released that was a Hello Kitty Barbie, which if you think about is like
I was thinking about Barbie this whole time when you were
Yeah.
talking about like she can be anything. She can be like that was
Right.
Barbie's whole thing. Put her in a pilot outfit, put her in the doctor's outfit, like
Yeah, I have seen feminists on both sides of like the Hello Kitty debate say, well, she doesn't have a mouth. What does that mean to, young girls? And I don't know if little girls are looking at it like that.
right.
There's a true innocence to her that
Yeah.
while it hides all of this kind of darker insinuation and almost, it's not a cover up, but it is like a nice little
A
veil.
distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Distraction.
Yeah, like using it to rehab your image after committing a lot of pretty atrocious acts during a war. Yeah.
Right. It changes the way that you look at Hello Kitty a little bit, even though I think she's done such great things. Now, there is that powerful culture of cute that a lot of people feel encourages them in their femininity and gives them strength and power, and they can be super cute but super strong and be cute cool. Share that with a whole community of other girls, women, and femmes. So
I agree. But it is, apart from even just the like rampant capitalism and consumerism, how do we sell shit and rehab our image at the same time is sinister.
It's not her fault. It's like she was born and then used to be this
Right.
cute little Band-Aid. If you have any more thoughts.
I mean, I would have liked to hear more about the atrocities because I'm not that familiar. I know about Comfort Women.
Yeah.
I just listened to a Red Handed about that actually, but I don't know a lot of the other stuff, and I don't know how many folks do.
Right. I didn't really know how to feel about going deep into that because I have, as I mentioned, I feel like a lot of Americans, we hold a lot of guilt for, how am I going to say this? It almost felt insensitive for me to be like, and here are all the atrocities when
I get what you mean.
Yeah. And not knowing if that was a tasteful way to bring that into the conversation.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, I think you're right. I could have gone into that, but I got a little gun shy.
So was it like their economy suffered basically for a while after World War I up until the 70s? Was it like we need something to sell, essentially?
From what I was reading, Japan had already pivoted to like, okay, we're going to get our foot in the door with engineering and technology, but we also need to change our image big time.
It is totally disarming.
Well, now I feel bad because I feel
Don't
like...
feel bad. No, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to.
No. I just, because I found this really great article that tries to toe the line and say, hey, I'm not calling anybody out, but these are the controversies. This is why the Chinese massacres are still denied by a lot of nationalists. This is why, it's not talked about very much, because it's at a certain point during the occupation of China early on, like they kind of just lost control of their troops and they kind of just went off. They were running out of food, they were running out of resources, so they took it out on the civilians and massacred them.
Well, and then like the issue of Comfort Women, which for those who don't know, there were women who were trafficked from all over the place to basically serve as sex slaves to the Japanese soldiers, essentially government sanctioned sex slavery. Japan denied the existence of them until fairly recently. I don't remember exactly when.
Yeah.
But they denied that they did that. And then recently kind of were like, oh, yeah, oops, we did do that, actually.
Right. And, reparations have never been made.
Right.
No attempts have been made to do anything like that. And there are younger generations now in Japan who are really calling for that. And
Yeah.
just as we are to like Black Americans, like, hey, it's about time. What about First Nations?
Yeah. And what about Japanese Americans who were interned
What about
here
Japanese
who were willing
Americans?
to actually like help us out and fight? And instead we were like, you know what? Get in some camps.
How about you go into that internment camp? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you need to. I understand feeling uncomfortable, like from the position of two white women sitting in a podcast, a little, I don't know. I get that.
Thank you. I didn't want it to come across as me just being cowardly, but it does feel odd sometimes to be in our position.
Like maybe not your place to be talking
Yes.
about. But it is a fact. It is, there are things that happened. So
Yeah,
it's
you're
not
right.
like, it depends on how you talk about it. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I should say that. So, as we know, cats, very cute, very popular throughout history.
Yes.
Throughout this history, Japan is like, hey, cats are old. What's next? And this, whoever it was, I don't think I like them, but they said, you know what it is now? It's horses.
oh,
And
everyone's going to be a horse girl.
Everyone is. And there's like an anime about where they're girls, but they're not horses, but they're in a horse training camp, that school. They have a special school for horse
Wait, they're
racing
being trained as
horses.
Well, have you seen those people who do that, who run around on all fours and do like horse jumping? Like it's bananas, man.
That's diplomatic of you. It's deranged.
Yes, but also quite a feat of athleticism, if I may say so. I don't know that I could do it. I can't
don't think I could
walk across the gym. So I don't think I could be galloping on all fours and leaping over poles and shit. More power to you. But it is terrifying to watch. Well, no, this was really interesting. I loved learning about the history and all of her friends. And I really, even without the covering for atrocities, just the fact that all of that information that you continue to give me about that she's not a cat, but then her boyfriend's a cat, like that's enough to just whole hog ruin it for me.
But we still love her, and I hope you guys
We
still
do,
love
and we
her.
love Japan.
I do love Japan.
If we get more supporters on Patreon, maybe we can do a tour and go to Japan. We have plans, guys. Like if we ever get popular enough to do a tour, we have plans for what we're going to do, for the shows that we will do, depending on where we go. So keep spreading the word. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Just keep telling the people around you about us so that we would have people who would actually come to a show and it'd make it worth our while. And also, if you have ideas of stuff we can ruin, some of you have sent some in and it's been really great. You can reach out to us on social media or you can email us at nowitsruined@gmail.com.
I will shout out the anthropologist Christine Yano one more time because I literally did, like, she was my playbook for this.
Yes, we'll drop a link to the book. Thank you so much for making me upset.
You're
That's
welcome.
what this is all about.
That's what this is all about. Go get a Hello Kitty toy. Find a limited edition kitty vibrator.
It's just, she's a little girl. So you're telling me, okay, here we go.
Here we go again.
Just when I think I'm out. You want me to use a vibrator with what you were purporting is an 8-year-old girl on it? If she's a cat, it's weird enough.
I wouldn't use like a Mickey Mouse,
But at least Mickey's an adult.
I guess.
He's a grown-ass man, I think.
But I don't want a man on my vibrator either. I don't want
Fair
anything.
enough, but I mean,
I don't want anything with eyes on my vibrator. How about that?
What if it's Henry Cavill?
See, no. Even that. Even Gillian Anderson.
Oh, wow.
And I think she would understand.
That's how you know she really means it.
I can have a picture of her, but I wouldn't do that to you, Gillian.
On it or just separate?
No, around. Gillian, forget all of this.
Jillian, since you're
I know
definitely
you're listening. I know you're listening.
Yeah.
But I know you would support whatever I choose, but I don't want you there with me for that.
In vibrator form.
In vibrator form.
Don't shut down your chances with Gillian Anderson. Full
You're right.
stop.
I'm
Come
so
on.
sorry.
This is the Colin Hanks wife, mom's name situation all over again. We've really just talked ourselves into a weird corner, and now I don't know how to transition out of it.
I don't either.
Anyway, bye.
Bye. Love you. Forgive us.
Love you. Go masturbate however you want.
Yeah. Have a good time.